We all remember it, even though it might feel like a lifetime ago now. Gennady Golovkin used to be boxing's bogeyman. Nobody wanted to fight him. Loads of people were losing their pens. He was beating everyone the hell up with this track you down Terminator style. Pretty nonchalant about whatever punches came his way. Comes in with that Kazakh robe, a little kiss on his glove, a little salute, and it's all business, and you have not got a hope of winning. Watching a 40-year-old Triple G eventually get rid of a game, but very basic Ryota Murata, I couldn't help but wonder how would a prime Triple G deal with this situation. That would certainly give us the necessary contrast to see just how deteriorated the current Triple G actually is. Now, because Golovkin has never been the quickest or the most elusive fighter, the cracks in his game right now aren't that obvious. It's very much a steady decline we're witnessing. A guy who takes care of himself, who's got very solid fundamentals. But if there was one thing I had to say in that fight against Murata, it is to do with the gas tank. It's starting to run a little bit on empty. You simply can't hope to have the same stamina at 40 as you did when you were 30. It's just not happening. Even though we had the ageless wonder Bernard Hopkins, still very much world class at 40, his stamina wasn't the same. You go back, you watch him beat up Glencoff Johnson, and you will see a very different kind of work rate. You can live healthy, you can maybe last a lot longer if you play it smart, but nature is nature. Will Canelo Alvarez be able to make Golovkin pay in this department? A guy who doesn't exactly have the best stamina himself. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe reflexes will determine this. One thing I can say, factually, is that Canelo stood in front of Golovkin back when Golovkin was 36. It was tit for tat. A lot of people felt Golovkin won. He still didn't get the decision. What is he going to have to do here now at 40? At an age, and through the eye test, we can all agree he is on the downward curve. Is he going to have to pull a kind of Marquez Pacquiao punch out of the bag? Which I don't think is beyond the realms of possibility here. Canelo just got basically emasculated against Bivol. It was easy. It was a walk in the park. I don't know what was going on with the scoring. Heaven knows we've had a lot of poor scorecards this year, but that synchronized corruption, all three judges give the first 4 rounds to Canelo. What's going on there? That is unbelievably bad. But Canelo knows the score. He got easily dealt with. He was rendered completely ineffectual. Every time he loaded up, Bivol was like, yeah, that's nice. Anyway, back to boxing your head off. I think he's a little bit stung from that. He wants to load up with the big shots against the older guy and do damage. Whereas for Golovkin, he knows he's not getting that decision. He knows surely that he has to do some damage here. We saw him try and be the hunter in the first fight, a bit more of the boxer and counterpuncher in the second. Of course, had success with both approaches. We're going to probably need a bit of a mix here. He's going to have to confuse Canelo and probably get an emotional reaction out of him. Get him to overcommit. Get him to walk onto something if you can. That is how he eventually got rid of Murata. I suspect that's what he may have to do to Canelo. Catch him with that big one he doesn't see coming to take him out. Rubber matches we thought we didn't need at all, like Wilder Fury 3, turned out to be quite entertaining and probably worth it in the long run. And Golovkin at 40 has a lot of great fighters to reference, to perhaps draw strength from. The old Mongoose, Bernard Hopkins, Manny Pacquiao recently, you can still function and prosper in your 4th decade of your fighting life. You should be thinking, look, I've already beaten this guy twice before. I just have to be my regular self. Pick my punches, something I'm so good at. It all starts with that thudding, well-timed jab. And Canelo, for all his supposed slickness, when he roots himself to the canvas and starts shimmying and moving and ducking under. And we all say, oh wow, look at that 4th round against Danny Jacobs. If you feint and throw a good jab, you can find that forehead. This guy is not Mayweather slick. But unless there is a knockout, unless there's a plethora of knockdowns, you can only shrug your shoulders and say, look, this is a Canelo fight. A guy who is the cash cow, who's got a much bigger future at 32. This fight that is also in Las Vegas. It couldn't be any more obvious that he has the judge's insurance. Now, I tried to not be my usual Canelo skeptic in the last fight and said, you know what, I think he's going to beat Bivol legitimately. Looking at how that fight played out, it's got to be one of my worst ever predictions. I think we're going to get a pretty close fight again here, with Canelo legitimately just edging it on points.